Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what will be the final match of the July Arcane Games and Events Open Series. Are you psyched or what, Marcus?
I'm fairly psyched. I'm fighting through the fatigue, but I'm psyched.
That was as dry and British as it could be. I'm
Yep.
fairly psyched. Give me some energy.
I'm quite psyched because I know both the players really well, and they both went through some weird parts of Swiss and some rematches to get here, so it's going to be a fun one.
Okay, that was a little better. Thank you for
there
that.
Brought the energy. Thank you for inspiring me.
Indeed so. Let's go ahead and take a look at our match intro. It is Colin Eriksen on the right, bringing Kassai of the Golden Sands versus resident villainous laugh man, Zachary Wallach.
I wouldn't call him a true villain. He just has a very intense, hearty laugh.
No, exactly. There's so much joy behind it, but it is dreadful to hear because you know that means you are getting absolutely destroyed.
Well, I think it's actually infectious because I've heard it so much that I don't associate it with something bad. You know, it's not tinged. It's always something where I'm probably laughing too if I know what he's laughing at.
Huh. That is different than my experience, but I'll go with it.
It's probably because you've been on the receiving end of so much of his dromai, and meanwhile, in my Guardian land, I'm like...
You're like,
okay,
yeah,
Zach.
whatever. That's all. It's all in good fun, huh? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Zach and I usually meet in round 3 of these events, and like pro quests and that kind of thing. And usually I'm on Ranger. Usually he's on Illusionist, and we know how that goes. So here we go. Players are shuffling up, competing for that $400 meal ticket, I guess, as it were, and the cold foil full art Arcane Lantern and this beautiful medal from Hobby Lobby, if I'm not mistaken. Players are miking themselves up now, so we'll be clued into the action. What do you think about this matchup, Marcus? Who do you think has the edge here?
On face value, one would easily gravitate towards Illusionist. Considering the fact that Kassai wants to be hitting in order to make gold and set up for a sellsword endgame, the little bits of ward that Enigma can put out can be a thorn in the side of Kassai. But Kassai is more than comfortable to go to a later game and like grind it out with Enigma. And Colin is honestly no stranger to that. Like, he plays long games. He's got Heart of Fiendel. He can go the distance. He's fatigued Charles done before.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the, like, you know how you have your gem rivals. Mine, of course, is Zachary Wallach and say like Ryan Brown and stuff. Colin Eriksen's is Charles Dunn, and it has been since he started this game. So he has been well versed in incredibly long games since he started coming to the Arcane Games Open Series. And that is the power of the Southern California player pool. You get good fast or you drop off a cliff.
Well, you spend a bit longer like me, and it's like a reflection of your intelligence that it took you that long.
No. Marcus, be nice to my friend Marcus. You're a very intelligent man. Handsome to boot.
Why, thank you.
A lot of shuffling action going on here. Looks like it's time for a little thing I like to call plugs. We're going to plug the Battle Hardened in San Diego coming up next month, August 24th and 25th. Tell them what they could win, Marcus.
Well, we've got $2,000 in total prizing across both days, so $2,000 for both days, including 2 PTIs for both the winner and runner-up of the Battle Hardened, along with a legendary envelope, cold gold foil for the winner of the Battle Hardened, plus a ProQuest Plus in the AGE, the last AGE Open of the year, before the Players' Championship wraps. Which also has a PTI on the line for the winner and a common to majestic gold foil packet for the winner.
Tickets are going fast, folks. We are at capacity of 150, and they're going quick. So get yours now at www.age.events. Go there now. Buy it. Buy it now. Also, let's go ahead and take a look at our current standings. For the qualification of the Players' Championship. A lot of the players we've seen here today have secured their foothold in these top 8 slots, but we are also about to see a bit of a shakeup in the slots, say about like 17 to 20, where John Zapata and a handful of other players are holding on for dear life. Both Peter Budensek and Zachary Wallach making top 8 today helped to solidify themselves for the Players' Championship. at the end of the month. Zach is definitely in much better standing after making it to the finals. Looks like we are ready to go back to the action where the players are geared up, drawn up, and ready to go. Looks like Zachary Wallach is electing to go first, which is no surprise because he probably wants to set up that ward board as soon as possible.
He's really thinking heavily over this first hand.
He definitely doesn't have an easy play line then.
Okay, Coalescence.
Resolving with no counters to snipe, which means no extra value from Spectral Shield generation.
Yeah, I can see why he's probably like pondering so much of this hand, because it's kind of an awkward opener.
Especially because he's got one of those unravel aggressions, which are a really awkward card to draw
does
early.
Have a mirror guy in there, though.
But Zach, being a hyper-efficient player, probably doesn't want to play it until he has found that chi. Passing back to Colin Eriksen without giving him an opportunity to filter any of his hand. Unfortunately, and Colin finding himself with 2 Fate Foreseens in hand. Hit and run and an overpower. So he will get to swing both of his swords, but this is definitely not the turn you want to see.
No, it's some clunk from both sides, but I feel like, given Colin's hand, a little clunkier.
I'll pitch Fate Foreseen to come into the Centauri Saber.
No block, any rep?
No reactions.
Or 2.
Yep, Zach just happy to let Coalescence go.
And Zach's sitting there with a Transcend card in hand. Maybe, if he, does he have another blue? I see an Enigma Chimera.
He held on to the mirror guy, so...
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to Transcend and play the mirror guy on his turn, though. Probably depends on what he's got in that arsenal. Incoming is Hot Streak for 2. No on-hits, no glitz, no glamour. Just a friendly stab in the tummy.
It's also threatening the Einsorn versus Courage.
Oh, that's true.
Colin broke up the chain for it.
Sounds good. Move to end.
Before you end turn,
There we go. I forgot about the Unravel Aggression. This is going to allow us to transcend and play the Manifestations of Mirror Guy on his turn. I don't think we've seen a single game today where Zach doesn't play a Manifestations of Mirror Guy on turn 2 with a chi.
Tick up Tunic.
Probably just his lucky day, or a mixture of him and his prowess and a lucky day.
From what I know from Zach, this is just par for the course. This is why he is able to force Enigma every single draft pool, every single CC event.
However, electing to use Command and Conquer first.
Interesting.
Mainly because the entire chi would be spent on Mirror Guy, and then he'd have to spend CNC. Yeah.
He'll be much happier to do something like that on his next turn when he has the Tunic counter up. So Zach doing the hard work early on to get a Transcend card into his deck so that Traverse the Universe can be the hyper-powered piece
I was just about to raise that point, that it puts his Traverses live, so he can block when he wishes.
Back over to Colin Eriksen, where he will be able to get value on his Heart of Fiendal that he's drawn rather early. Typically, that is not something you can get any life value on this early in the game, but because that
considering, Zach used Homage, so...
And pitch Heart of Fiendal. This will gain me a life since I'm
Yo!
at 11.
And look at the glee with which Colin announces it, and Zach accepts that life gain.
I will gain a life. We will both go to 41.
We're pogging.
Besides having a villainous laugh, Zachary Wallach is also a walking,
cashes
talking
in
meme.
Traverse, yeah.
I mean, this is the best situation for it, right? You've got a mirror guy locked and loaded, ready to go. No board and plenty of life with which to play.
If you would like to cut.
Zachary Wallach.
No sources of go again from Colin.
Zach daring his opponent to cut, because it seems like every time they do, he finds a Manifestations of Mirror guy right after. I don't know if I'm going to cut him anymore, actually.
Play Maragai, pitch Chi, come in with 4 counters.
Bread and butter, like it's nothing. Let's see what the rest of this hand is going to look like.
That looks like a weakest link, or is it a... No, that's being pitched. That is definitely a Warmonger's.
Go again.
Indeed it is.
It's because it was generic. The border was fooling me.
8 go again is the ask on the side of Zachary Wallach. Now, I heard a little bit about Colin's strategy going into this. He is totally fine letting this game go long. One of the things he is looking to do is to hold back his Steel Blade Shunts, which are in the deck, and use them to snipe these really pesky manifestations of Miragai when they threaten his life total. For now, the block is just going to be a Fate Foreseen and a Sink Below.
They'll do some digging.
This is one of those beautiful combos with these early printed D-Reacts where play the Fate Foreseen, take a look at the top card. If you like it, you can choose to draw it off the sink. Filter your hand perfectly, prepare for the next turn.
I will hit the yellow.
Darn.
Transcend.
Bye-bye, Raisin Army.
Colin, upset to see that yellow go because
Make up
Kassai needs reds and yellows in her graveyard to fuel her hero ability.
free.
Here comes the Spectral Shield for 2. Go again.
I will give you 1.
Colin cashing in on the value of the Valiant Dynamo, nice and early. Looks like his hand does have sources of go again. That's a blood on our hands, also a stroke of foresight. He does have go again.
It's
Fantastic.
just not a great source.
Yeah.
No blocks.
This is a really wide chain from Zach. Red Chimera.
Down
This is probably the most amount of damage that I've ever seen Colin Eriksen take in one place. That was 8 straight to the face, and he took it just fine.
Yeah, and it was 20 in total that Zach just presented.
So far, Zach showcasing the, what do we call it, obvious interpretation of how this match could go. Let's see if Colin can claw his way back in here. He probably knows that he's got to hold something back in his hand so that he can threaten this board state that Zach has established so early, so defiantly.
No block in your hand.
Colin thinking about this stroke of foresight here.
Give it go again. Move to damage.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Colin says, A-OK. Goodbye to the 2 ward pieces of equipment, which means that this Manifestations of Miragai is wide open for the taking. That is, unless Zach has some cards to say otherwise.
Here comes the follow-up Saber number 2.
No.
Oh, pardon me, after Hot Streak.
This looks fairly innocuous from Colin, but we know he's got the Tunic counter up,
Yeah,
stroke of foresight in hand.
he's going to force it.
This will get the reprise trigger.
1 damage over.
Plus from hand.
Okay, reprise will trigger. Draw a card. Then put a card
To the bottom, right? Or top?
top or bottom.
Top or bottom? So keep it on top?
Colin
Yeah.
effectively opts 1 card, likes what he sees.
No draw.
Unfortunately, Zach has the second D-React to cover this up.
Mm.
Now, that's a Sink Below that only blocks for 1, but it keeps a 5 counter Miragai still on the board. and
Keeps 10
there's-
power as a weapon on the board.
There is a
Exactly
lot of
what you
value
wanna
in
do.
that.
Swing Miragai.
Coming in is another 10 from this Manifestations of Miragai. This is the second swing for 10 in this match in as many turns.
We're only 12 minutes in.
I know. Colin definitely is comfortable going to a long game, but he might just not get the opportunity to.
Down 21.
My goodness.
Oh, another massive hit to the life total.
Sources Phantasmaclasm.
Oh my gosh, and a back-breaking attack on the back of the Miragai. Phantasmaclasm 4-9. Colin Eriksen is forced to show the hand.
Zach is just sending massive illusionist haymakers.
Looking at the list of Colin Eriksen here, it seems like we only have 5 poppers in the entire deck. 3 Command and Conquer and 2 Nourishing Emptiness.
We'll draw
None of those are in that hand.
9 Phantasm.
Then I will draw a popper. I will not draw.
Poor Colin. Hoping for the popper off the top. No luck today.
Take 3.
Take 3.
18.
Colin is forced to donate yet more cards to the cause of defending his life total, which means more cards that aren't there to kill this Miragai.
Activate gold. Drawing a card.
Okay.
Ah, there's the popper.
It was
Just
just
one card
one
deeper.
card away. Whoops.
You hate to see it.
I was about to make the point that given that Zach got to peek at Colin's hand, barring the 1 card that he draws new off Phantasmaclasm, he knows exactly what to expect in terms of reactions so that he can better protect his Miragai. However, Colin has slightly upset that in popping a gold to see 1 new card.
Nourishing.
And critically also, Zach doesn't get to see the card that he draws off of the Phantasmaclasm.
There was an ever so slight smirk from Zach, thinking, ha,
It's dominating.
Popper was one away.
You know he noticed that too. Here we are deep in the tank. Both these players fighting their way to the finals of the July AGE Open Series. The stakes have never been higher all day.
Block 3, react.
Okay.
Oh, unfortunately, Zach finds that ward aura that is
And,
going to
ward
prevent the
three.
mirror guy from dying yet again. Oh, my heart goes out to Colin because this is not usually the way his games look.
My turn. Swing Miragai for 10.
Usually he is fighting his way tooth and nail for about 60 minutes and eventually grinds his opponent into dust.
I guess he can look on the bright sides here. At least it's just the mirror guy swinging this turn.
Just 10. All he's swinging is 10 for the third time in as many turns.
It's not followed up by another giant attack, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Colin forced to 10. Okay.
That is 30 points of value that this Manifestations of Miragai has generated thus far. And you can see why Zach is fighting tooth and nail to keep it on that board. Because boy howdy if he can get 40 out of it. I think it's done its work, but why not go for one more turn? This is the most amount of cards that I think we've seen in Colin's hand attacking this Miragai. Let's see if he can put something together.
It's fine. We win these.
Colin Eriksen.
We win these. There's the Blade Runner.
Colin always in good spirits, no matter what the case in his match. Zach having a think.
Yeah, he's got a couple Mystic auras in his hand.
Chris Schnell says it's kitties in hand. Sounds like we've got another Restless Coalescence ready to be deployed.
I mean, Coalescence would cover up a hot streak.
Indeed so.
And Zach gets all the agency to pull as many counters, I think, as he likes.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, he'd like to keep as many as possible on that mirror guy.
Play Restless, move a counter on here, and then use effect to remove a counter.
Keep a Spectral Shield around.
It's always fun to watch Zach move through these play patterns because he's done them so many times. It just sounds so routine. Oh, and now Colin being forced to pitch a red to swing that second sword.
Yeah, he's had like an awkward cycle thus far.
The only thing that he could be holding back reaction-wise at this point is probably an in the swing, because if it was a Blade Flurry, we would have seen it deployed on that first hot streak.
Yeah.
So Zach probably has a good amount of information going into this blocking step. And here comes the tunic block when Zach is at 41 life. That showcases just how important this Manifestations of Miragai is.
Ooh.
There's the in the swing. Let's see if Zach can cover it up. Or will this Miragai finally go to the bin and give Colin some breathing room to get himself back in this game?
Yeah, Zach had to give the Tunic in addition because the Saber is going to be boosted by blocking with CNC. Unfortunately, because it was tall enough with in the swing, he'll just have to let Miragai go.
My turn.
Pitching a Manifestations of Miragai.
Spectre.
Establishing a lesser board, but
This is 4.
probably still enough to pressure the life total of Colin.
Or die now.
Swing for 1.
Colin says he will die now.
Pass.
I'm still with him. I still think he wins these. Zach with a reestablished board of a Waxing Spectre with a counter and a Spectral Shield without.
Okay, we've had the first...
Copper generator?
I was going to say like a warrior turn that resembles what you usually want. Pitch the blue, send the go again.
That is a really good point. Colin really has not been able to do many solid bread and butter Kassai turns, has he? Not a single banish, not
Yeah,
a single Kassai activation.
I wonder how much he shuffled over 60 in this matchup. Or maybe he just didn't. And it's just like the luck of the draw.
Warmonger's Diplomacy and a Spectral Shield are the blocks.
2 from Hot Streak on the follow-up.
Looks like it's a 1-card block in the form of Levels of Enlightenment. And that'll be the turn. Arsenal up
The
and
Spectre
pass.
shall live, despite the fact that it is a Spectre, so it does not have life to begin with.
Does it have wax, though?
Probably with all the candles made to like offerings to your
Your
elders.
dog protector? Zach pitching a red unmovable.
I mean, he doesn't need that with small little swords like that.
It's all good. It is all good. It'll get the job done here, and it'll push some damage. Not sure what Zach is saving for the arsenal here, but it definitely looks like that Colin Eriksen is going to have at least one more shot at getting some damage on the board.
He's got a blade run. I think he's got a couple blade runners in this hand.
Yeah, he's got a lot of redundant sources of go again. 3 blade runners and a route.
Oh, a shunt.
Here we go. This is that
There
game
we
plan
go.
that Colin was trying to enact earlier. Just not able to find those shunts early enough to deal with that manifestation of Miragai.
I mean, he has fully cleared the board now, so he can start with a clean slate. Maybe start carving away at Zach's life total now.
And here we go. Here's our first Kassai activation. An opportunity, perhaps, for Colin to claw his way back into this game. Diligently banishing the 1 attack action card that's in his graveyard so that the next time he finds himself with a Nourishing Emptiness, it'll be sure to have Dominate.
It's live for Dominate, yeah.
Here comes Hot Streak. Not with Go again so far. Just a friendly 2 and some indigestion. Megamonk says, are the wards weapons? Does Shunt ping? They
Yes.
absolutely
Cosmo Scroll of Ancestry?
Yeah.
Ledger of Ancestry is
Yeah.
is Enigma. Yeah, Scroll will make auras into weapons. So it counts as a weapon swing, ergo Shunt will trigger.
Which is why Colin's critical game plan is to take care of those manifestations of Miragai with Steelblade Shunt.
During your turn, auras you control with ward are weapons with base attack equal to their ward, and once per turn action, pay 1, attack.
Wow, it was both papery things that you were trying to come up with, both scroll and tapestry.
Yes.
There are very few smiles in this match as opposed to the last one with Eugene. Once it's finals, it's all business for these players.
I mean, to speak to that demeanor, it was 2 old friends laughing at each other at the semi-finals they found themselves in. And here we have 2 teammates duking it out to prove they're the best on the team. In this
Bragging
moment.
rights are important on that team, let me tell you. Red Blade
Especially-
Runner is the attack reaction to give Hot Streak Go again, which means that this Saber is coming in for 5. No, Marowak, that is no bug. Zach's life total is incredibly, obscenely high in this game.
He took the first bit of damage he's taken all game, 21 minutes in.
Colin's got to be feeling good. At least he's not Evan Bridges with an 040 on stream.
That was never getting lived down by Evan.
It's important to note that Colin did take down Evan in the quarterfinal matchup.
Yep.
And that was a matchup that Evan, like Peter Budensic before him, said was pretty free.
This is unlosable. I can't fluff it.
But fluff it he did, and here we are with Colin Eriksen in the finals.
Another mirror guy here? Just with 2, though. I see.
And he's forced to transcend with the drop in the ocean, which means that that chi cannot be donated to the manifestations of Miragai. Zach with 3 cards, one of which is a blue pitch.
I think I see another Phantasmaclasm in hand.
Oh my lord. Will the onslaught never end? 4 go again is the ask for Colin Eriksen. This Manifestations of Miragai, not quite as threatening as the last, but still very scary this stage of the game.
He's got 2 poppers in hand.
Quick chime in from producer Justin, making a very good point and showcasing the fact that Zachary did go ahead and activate the Ward 3 on Meridian Pathway, just in case that Colin had a cheeky Steelblade Shunt in his hand or arsenal. Good spot, Justin. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a Phantasmaclasm for Zachary, and he found 2 poppers in the hand of Colin Eriksen. A pop will clean that up. Colin is sure wishing that that had happened a little earlier. And now he's finding himself red-handed against Zachary, the Illusionist Menace.
And also good that, well, I guess, given that there were 2 poppers in his hand, I was going to say that Zach might have opted to take away Nourishing, so that he can't have it fielded against him.
Mm,
But that requires Colin to also like banish the popper he just used to pop,
indeed.
and then waste a Kassai activation. So
Unfortunately, the only thing Colin can do on his turn is send in a hot streak, remove that lesser Manifestations of Mirror guy, and pass. Zachary Wallach responding with a Waxing Spectre with a counter on it. 4 go again is the ask. The answer, Fate Foreseen from Colin's hand. Followed up by an Essence of Ancestry body. Mind is the blue one. And a pass. Colin Eriksen with a little bit of leeway here once again. Maybe getting to that long-form game that he's been hoping for. Although the hand is not showing a whole lot of pressure here.
no, and no go against source for these swords.
On the bright side, he does have Tunic up, and is hopefully going to be able to make use of it here to get both these swords swinging at Zachary's face. Zach, on the other hand, sporting a good amount of blue cards. I believe that's a Spectre Aura in the form of Shimmers of Silver.
Mm.
Was that the final Manifestations of Mirror guy? Did I miss that?
Could have been.
Couldn't see it. Zach keeping those cards close to the chest and on the table. We're still waiting for our plexiglass technology to come in, so can't see that quite yet. Shimmers of Silver donated to block. That's 2 for the hot streak, critically not giving it go again on its own. But Colin says, get that out of here and back into your hand. I've got a route. Route saying, reprise. If your opponent has blocked with a card from hand, put it back in their hand. Get that out of here. Turning this hot streak into 5.
Back to whence you came.
Zach, however, has an answer in the arsenal in the form of Sink Below. Not going to be enough to cover it up entirely. So Colin will get some sort of ward off of Zachary's board as a reward. Man, that was a lot of rhymes.
That was a lot.
I'm glad we made it through together, Marcus. That was a little terrifying.
You ever thought of a music career with rhymes like that?
Absolutely not. I think I'm right where I belong, honestly.
Zach will sink here. Oh, finds his sacred art.
Ooh, there's Zach's tell. I've heard of this. Right when that hand comes up to his chin and he gives it a little rub. Yes, he knows he has something juicy in hand.
Bleeding 1 over currently, no float.
Zach wondering if he wants to protect this board. He could just let that Essence of Ancestry die.
Oh, this is very nice.
Yep.
Just leak.
To damage?
Or produce a shield with Restless from the +1 from Waxing.
Yeah, and then here comes Kitty card in the form of Restless Coalescence, and all of a sudden this
Take no
board is
damage,
doubled.
yeah.
Okay.
Passing it back over to Zachary
Play
with
Shimmer,
full steam ahead.
play Sacred Art, declare all 3 modes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to transcend off this. However, Shimmers of Silver is going to use our action point. So Zach is just saying, I am going to blow this board up so big that you will never be able to manage it. We've got +1 counters galore.
Counter. Oh no, only on ward.
Only on ward.
And then he can also pitch into Enigma because that just transcended.
So even though Zach has not sent any damage Colin's way, he has
I have
done
no
a lot with his turn.
Pass.
Yeah.
And Colin now has full leeway to do as he likes. Let's see if he can make any use of it to get back in this game. We see a form of Go Again in 2 forms of Go Again in Blade Runner
Okay, boy.
and Run Through.
It's all right.
I've had better.
It's never quite enough for Zach.
I've seen better.
10, threatening 11.
Like chat is telling me, I looked away for 2 minutes and what happened? The Illusionist just spat up all this board state in my face.
Emotional, you're not seeing double. This literally just happened last turn, basically. Before Colin passed turn back to Zach, he was able to stick a Restless Coalescence, get a Spectral Shield, and then on his turn, he basically did this with the Sacred Art and an Enigma activation. Looking bleak for our Lady with the Swords and Sand.
Where's my Murkmire Grapnel? Oh wait, I don't have that card.
Yeah, I bet Kassai wishes she could throw a Workmire Grapnel right now. Centauri Saber is the ask on the side of Colin Eriksen, currently coming in for 2. We have popped a gold, so this Saber is free. Zach adjusting his chair, making sure his spine is completely aligned before he chooses blocks. There is no room on Zach's combat chain to place more attacks, so he's just going to have to swing everything that's on his ward board.
Oh, here we go.
We got a couple reactions, some action on Colin's side of the board. Blade Flurry plus Blade Runner turns this saber into 4.
Coalescence to get a disposable shield out there.
Coalescence is just such a disgusting card in this current situation. Zach says, I've seen better. I say, I don't know, man. This is pretty nasty.
I think I know some of the mirror guy, or pardon me, the mirror guy. Too many dragons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dragon Lady herself. Too many Dromai boards that have looked actually worse than this.
And my goodness, Zach, if this wasn't bad enough, Zach also finds the perfect answer in that unmovable. We were talking earlier about how it's kind of useless against these small swords. Colin finally is able to beef one up to like 7, and there's the unmovable to stop it. My heart bleeds for him.
I'll get a counters from Shimmers. Come in. 3 go again.
Zach showcasing his knowledge of this class. May appear to the average viewer that he is swinging Restless Coalescence without Go Again, but it gets the counter from Shimmers of Silver, which then Enigma's, Cosmo sees and gives the attack Go Again.
Colin continues to fight to dispel these illusions and takes it on the chin here.
It is a bleak moment for our hero here, but Colin's going to see if he can fight his way through this. Yeah, I was curious to see Zach take an entire turn down, but he's reaping the rewards now. Basically, with 2 cards in hand, he's going to be able to threaten an abysmal amount of damage.
Yeah, so he'll get a free spectral shield swing here. Pardon me, the alliteration kind of got me. So, given that he's floating another 2?
Swing mine.
Oh, is that Austin Summers in chat? Austin Summers, recent top 8 contender at U.S. Nationals, is in chat. If you haven't seen it yet, he's got a really amazing Prism deck tech hosted by Chris Iali up on the Arcane Games and Events YouTube channel.
Check that one out.
Please like and subscribe those videos. That's some good content for you Illusionist players out there. We've got a handful of them here on the AGE Pro team. It's always easy to get really high quality Illusionist matchups on this team, and I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, here we go.
The answer from Colin is Command and Conquer with Go Again. Not too shabby, but maybe a little too late.
Command and Conquer?
Colin having fun.
No, I'll just send another Command and Conquer.
Colin having fun with his death rows in this match. 2 CNCs.
I'll use this. Make a buddy.
I think I can deduct this from the spreadsheet and minus this expense this month.
Yes, exactly.
It won't hurt my bottom line looking at this board state.
Zach doing his taxes in real time. Deciding what cut he wants to give to the IRS before sending it to the Nether Realms.
5, 6.
Okay.
He says, all right, I will give you 2 of my 7-wide board.
About to remove a counter from Dynamo, but that's only swords, not CNCs.
We just get a free comedy show by putting the lapel mics on.
These players are so fun to watch. Colin says, I really thought I was about to remove the counter on my Dynamo, but it's swords, not CNCs. Darn. Always having a good time, no matter the situation. This is why I'm really proud to call these guys my teammates.
What would be the prize that you would award for swinging 2 CNCs like that?
The prize?
Yeah.
Are we coming up with a piece of equipment?
Yeah, like some sort of magical Christmas land, like pull it off.
Oh man, I guess a 3rd CNC for free.
You may tutor a CNC to your hand.
No, one just comes in from your inventory. You're allowed to have as many as you want in
Get
your
a Command
inventory.
and Conquer token.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm coming up with fun ideas, not good ideas, all right? Colin Eriksen going down to 1. Looking dire for our hero. Agility token pops, though. We've got 2 cards in hand. 2 cards in hand. Let's see what he can do with them.
Spoils of War on a blue.
4 go again. Go again.
Colin Eriksen living the sword dream.
No block react.
There is a fate foreseen.
I was sitting there going, oh, Zach has the perfect cover-up in his hand in the form of Fate Foreseen. But what do you know? There's another one in Arsenal, Marcus.
Yeah.
That's just what it's like to play against Zachary Wallach.
Bottom.
Honestly, that's usually what it's like to play against Colin Eriksen in my experience, too.
2. Yep.
They've just always got the clean numbers. Hot Streak for 2 is the follow-up. No matter what, it's not connecting, however. Zach's life total will stay at 34, no matter what, at the end of this turn cycle.
I don't think Zach is too bothered, even if he gives no cards to defend this anyway.
No. We are going through the motions a little bit at this point. Ooh, Zach's other tell. Did you notice that little flick of the fingers when he formed a little fist and then released it again?
I like that we're playing like armchair psychology in addition to watching a finals.
It's important. You need whatever edge you can against Zach Wallach to get there. I swear.
I want to be funny, but I can't be funny.
What do you think that says about his psychology, Marcus? He wants to be funny, but he can't be funny.
I mean, that was the line I imagined in my head when I saw this hand. Like, why not stick the other Chimera on the end of this chain after swinging shields?
Yep, exactly.
That's a funny play.
Greedy as always, my friend.
Surely he has no popper.
Swing, get a counter.
What the heck? I might as well swing for 4, 6, 8, 10. Off of a blue.
Dynamo's proving their worth here.
Deal 2, go again.
Critically, removing their counter because Colin didn't swing 2 CNCs that turn. It was instead 2 swords.
Very astute of you.
Enigma Chimera for 8.
Oh my goodness.
That seemed pretty funny.
Oh.
Remembrance.
Remembrance donated
I will
to
take my
Ben.
game action. I will sew my poppers back in, and that's the game.
And that'll be the finals going to Zachary Wallach, proving that once and for all, the left side of the stream is much stronger than the right.
Way too strong.
Congratulations to Zach and his illusionist prowess.
His shields, his ledgers.
Winning by a narrow margin of 33 life points and 3 swings.
Hey, Colin
of a
can flex
manifestations
that
of
one
Mirror Guy.
over Evan and say, like, I got life points off this guy. You didn't.
I drew blood. You did not.
The blood might be all over my hands and not just my body.
But I flicked a little onto Zachary Wallach. That's going to do it for us here at Arcane Games. That was our final match. We will bring Zachary in for an interview and ask him how that felt to swing a Mirror Guy for 40 points of damage. My guess is the answer will be good.
Very good, but not for Colin.
No, but that's why we're not interviewing Colin, because he would say bad. And we want to hear good. And we will get to award Zach the illustrious prize of a Hobby Lobby medal and a full art cold foil arcane lantern, not to mention 400 smackers, which he will surely use to bring out his illusionist deck.
Buy more illusionist cold foils. Let's be real.
And not to mention, let's take one more look at the Players' Championship standings. Zachary, previously kind of at the bottom of this leaderboard, but with this win, securing his place.
When he gains exactly 30 points to his 39, he goes up to 69.
And what is the significance of that, Marcus?
There's nothing significant about that number. I just wanted to point it out.
Indeed, and it'll bring him just underneath Talon Stradley and put him squarely in 4th place, which honestly is a very safe place going into the final AGE Open of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Partnered with, of course, Battle Hardened San Diego.
Absolutely.
Tell me about it, Marcus.
So we've got a $2,000 total prize pool across both days. So $2,000 for both the days. We've got 2 PTIs on offer, one for the winner of Battle Hardened San Diego and the runner-up, a legendary gold cold foil envelope, nearly misspoke, to the grand winner of the Battle Hardened, along with a common to majestic cold gold foil envelope for the winner of the last AGE Open of the year on the Sunday.
That was a large mouthful of words, and you did great with it, Marcus. Don't forget that the tickets are selling out for the Battle Hardened San Diego. We only have a capacity of 150, and tickets are going quick. So get yours at www.age.events. Go now. Don't wait. What else we got, Marcus?
Is there any more spoiler talk to be had? Maybe.
Spoiler talk. I think we've had our spoiler talk for the day, but what are you most excited about in Rosetta?
It's still the Majestic that they revealed with the new. I think it's. I don't want to say mulch as a mechanic because mulch is a
Decompose is the mechanic.
decompose. Okay, kind of like mulching, but yeah, felling of the crown. This is my favorite because as a 2-card 8 that is also a 3-block, so it's really good. It's checking a bunch of boxes. The fact that you can take a card away from your opponent and you don't also have to tuck a card is pretty powerful as a 2-card 8.
Even if it ends up coming in for 4, that is still on rate when you add in the value that you're getting from ripping a card out of your opponent's hand.
Yep.
Let's see Florian. We didn't get to go over Florian earlier on. Is this a hero that you're excited about? Earth Runeblade? Does that jive with you?
Actually. Because I'm eager to do things like stir the wildwood and pummel and
block a lot.
block a fair bit. Play like a Runeblade mid-range.
You are awfully good at blocking,
Um,
much to my dismay oftentimes.
what can I say? I play Guardian in just about everything I touch in this game.
Yeah, Florian, if there are 4 or more Earth cards in your Banished Stone, Florian gets. If you would create 1 or more Aura tokens, instead create that many +1 of each of those tokens. Ostensibly, Rune Chant tokens and Embodiment of Earth tokens. Hence the blocking discussion. If you want to engage with us at Arcane Games and Events, please join our Discord. We've been flashing the invite link here and there. Join the discussion and engage with all of the players that you've seen here every single month at the Arcane Games and Events Open Series. All of them are active there and are really swell people to interact with. So please join us. We would love to have you. We're going to go to break real quick, and we will be back with Zachary Wallach, the villainous laugh himself, and the July champion of the Arcane Games and Events Open Series. Don't go anywhere.
Do not click off. Good evening and welcome back to the Arcane Games Open Series. I've got our winner today, Mr. Zach Wallach, the Wall himself.
It's me.
2 times winner now.
Yeah.
Finally.
First AG champion to have won 2 different AGs.
On 2 different Illusionists.
I would be playing Dromite today if I could, brother.
I know. Like, some of the board states we just saw kind of resembled, like, peak Dromai from what we could see. But,
Nothing warmed my heart more than having a full board of just the Restless Coalescence, the Essence of Ancestry, and then just all my Spectral buddies, and just swing it all. It almost reminded me of Ashwings. Brings me back. It gives me warm feelings.
Yeah. I knew as soon as I think you sank into the Sacred Art that, like, this is where the rest of this final was going. You were just producing shields everywhere. So, how did you feel about the day? How did you feel about your Swiss experience?
All right, I'm not going to lie. I came in today just completely coping of like, all right, coming in today, I'm playing Enigma. I expect to be like an all right feel just because of SoCal things. And then it ended up being way better. Like, I knew there'd be a good amount of new, good amount of Riptide. And then they just ended up being like the most things of the room.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. And then just turned to Swiss of like, all right, round 1 Riptide. Round 2 Chris on Prism. Round 3 another Riptide. Round 4 Dorinthia.
Yep.
And then round 5 I finally paid my Zen tax against Peter to end Swiss X1.
Yeah, which is not so bad.
Yeah. And they lost in top 8. I'm like, oh my god, there's a chance for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was quite fortunate in that way, because if you had met Peter again in top 8, who knows how it would have gone.
Yeah, our Swiss game was close. It got 1-1, but again, it's all Zen can always just do Zen things.
Yeah, he was eventually brought 1 versus 1 against Andrew, but Andrew did not make it past semis, so...
I would have, I mean, the moment I saw their top 4 matchup of just Kassai or Nu, I'm like, all right, I'll take either.
Yeah, they both have to swing small weapons and really, really like work to get for those breakpoints, basically.
Yeah, it's really stressful on just like their hand economy in general to try and break through a board setup. It's even worse the moment just like, all right, they have to break through my card block in hand, they have to break through a D-React and Arsenal, and just it just adds up over time.
Yeah, they're classes that generally have to work for the action points by leaning on like generics. Like you see Scar for a Scar included from some new lists, some Hurl, using their own levels to get wider, looking for a scrap. Warrior doesn't have that though.
I mean, they have a little of like, especially Kassai, just because they have both the swords to swing with. Colin didn't really get to do that much late game of just like that opportunity of either just swinging multiple swords with a threat of a pump behind it, or swing sword, get blocked, and then go, all right, play like CNC.
Yeah.
Not to have that one turn where it was just off the agility, double CNC. I'm like, well, if this game was not currently like 41 to 10,
exactly.
this would be a lot worse for me right now.
Yeah, he definitely had like a rough start with it because you didn't allow him to filter at all, and we knew from looking at his hand he had 2 Fate Foreseen and like no source of go again and 2 blue reactions. So he had it hard to start off with. So he really had to work to like make Dynamos worth it.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot after just like he got to do it one time during the game of like, haha, you're swinging with 1 aura, Steel Blade Shunt, pop it, and then he just never really got to do that. Because, yeah, he was stuck on just those fates and sinks.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have all that many shunts in his list. Like, he's not running like a whole 6 in like blues and reds, so he has to make them count and really like take your mirror guys away.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can do that. We had quite an exciting top 8 in 7 unique heroes, 2 news, but they're on the opposite ends of the bracket. We saw you and Peter had rematches from Swiss. You faced Richard again. Peter faced Andrew again. But we saw a really close game, Andrew versus Peter, in that they both went to 1, and Andrew got to land more disruption and stuff like that. And I would presume your rematch into Richard was much of the same from what I saw in Swiss.
To give Richard credit,
Okay.
compared to our Swiss game, he at least dealt damage to me in our top 8.
Yeah.
And that's an accomplishment for Dorinthia in that matchup.
Yeah. How much life did he carve off you in the end?
We don't talk about that.
Okay. You don't need to disclose it. Okay. People's like pride are on the line. Okay. And you had a match into Eugene, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was really funny because I got to sit down and watch Eugene's top 8 game play out on the side, just because my game ended like pretty quickly. And to give Eugene a lot of credit, he played a really exhausting game in the Grand. I almost wish that game was on stream for just how crazy it got towards.
Yeah, that end state was pretty insane in that all 3 wildfires were on the table in addition to 2 blazing, and Grant had fielded both Oases.
Yeah, the fact that Grant, like, on its face, like, almost pulled through. Like, he's at, I want to say it was, like, 34 health. He had double
Yeah, like
aces,
around
the blue,
32, yeah.
And still just got boomed by triple wildfire, double blazing, which, hey, be what it be. Like, it was just a very exciting game. And I know we were talking about a lot mid-game during our match in top 4 of, like, at that point he was exhausted and he was just trying to make plays that just couldn't quite pull through. Like, there was a point where he went through, like, a full complicated sequence, had Wildfire, City and Banish, Lesson and Banish, had all this stuff going on. And when he finally got to, like, the pull the trigger point of, like, all right, what do we actually start playing for damage? He's like, why did I do any of this?
Go through all the mental gymnastics and calculation and think, this isn't going to deal lethal. Why am I bothering? And the stream had a bit of a blip, but we fixed it and came back. But you actually tried to end the match with a pummel on top of your weakest link.
Yeah, when I natty drew just finally a pummel in the game, I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be the first pummel I get to cast all day, and at least it's on stream for lethal.
So the pummel ended stream, and then we had to bring it back. And then in response, Eugene popped Striders to play like an Aether Flare or something.
Yeah, it was Aether Flare coming in for 3 at me. In response to the Aether Flare, pitches his last card in hand to Waning Moon himself for lethal, so I couldn't kill him.
Yeah, he committed Wizard to himself rather than be hit by a pummel and dishonored. Okay. I'm being told we will head to break, so Congrats again to Zach here. You get your lovely July medal and an extended art cold foil
Ooh.
arcane lantern.
All right. Been a moment since I've gone to put on a medal. Been a moment since I've been in the room like this.
Surely you still remember the way to do it. There we go. It's like it was meant to be. Yeah, get it right the round way. All right. Well done, Zach. You now sit at 69 points. And that'll be all for today's stream. Yeah. Today's stream for the Arcane Games and Events July Open. Thank you for tuning in, and take care.